Hey, Drew Chicone here with Mustad Hooks. One question that I get a lot is how do I put on regular dumbbell eyes for like clousers or any weighted bonefish flies or even bead chains? Let me show you how I do it. A lot of different ways. A lot of guys glue it up like crazy or maybe put extra thread wraps in, but this is the technique that I use on all my flies. So first thing I do is I'm going to wrap the thread around my index finger on my non-dominant or non-thread hand. And I'm going to start at the eye of the hook, and I do that so I can count the number of thread wraps. I use this leg as a guide, and that way I can get all the flies that I tie to be in the eyes to be in the same position. So I'm going to wrap back about 18 turns, and then I'm going to cut that off. And I'll make a couple of turns and make a little thread bump. And then I'm going to take my dumbbell eye and I'm going to push it right up tight to that bump. I'm going to make 6 turns, 6 or 8 or whatever you want to do, depending on the size. For smaller eyes you might use less, larger you might use a couple more. But what that's going to do is going to make the eye kind of tip this direction. Then I'm going to make turns in the opposite direction, but I'm going to double it. So if I did 6, I'm going to do 12. And you'll see it this thread's starting to fray out a little bit because I'm putting an excessive amount of thread pressure on this. You'll learn how much you can and can't do. For this demonstration, I was trying to show you that with 12 wraps, it's going to start to pull this thing into line. Then I'm going to make another 12 figure 8 wraps around this. And then I'm going to do 20 to 25 what I call a donut wraps underneath. So I'm going to go wraps around the eyes until you start to see that thread build up. Let me see where I'm at here. I wasn't really counting. There you go. You start to see the thread coming out underneath the eyes, and that will give you something to lock down onto. So then I'm going to make another 4 or 5 in each direction, and then I'll make a couple of figure 8s and a few wraps behind, and that's it. So if I was tying in stages, I'd go ahead and whip finish this off, cut my thread, and that's it. That's how I lock them, and these things aren't going anywhere.